Something is moving through space right now. Not a comet, not an asteroid, not anything that fits inside the categories we built to make ourselves feel safe about what the universe contains. It is moving with purpose, and it is aimed at us. This is not the opening of a film. This is not a thought experiment designed to fill time between commercials. This is the only rational conclusion left standing after you take the actual size of this galaxy seriously, after you accept what the age of this universe mathematically implies, after you stop letting comfortable assumptions do the work that honest thinking should be doing. Something out there solved the problem of crossing the void between stars. Something looked at the darkness between solar systems and built a way through it. Not in theory, not on paper. Actually built it, actually used it. And once you understand how, once you sit with what physics genuinely permits and what a civilization with incomprehensible amounts of time actually becomes, the idea that nothing has ever pointed itself toward Earth doesn't sound like science anymore. It sounds like a child closing their eyes and deciding that what they can't see cannot see them. Start with what distance actually means to something that has had enough time. The gap between star systems is not a wall. It is not a locked door. It is not a fundamental prohibition written into the universe. It is a journey, a very long journey. And every journey in the history of this species, no matter how impossible it seemed to the generation that first faced it, eventually got made. Think about what this planet looked like from space 1,000 years ago. Silent, dark, on the night side except for scattered fires. No signals leaving the atmosphere. No indication from the outside that anything on the surface was building toward the capacity to reach beyond it. Now look at what this planet looks like from space today. An expanding sphere of radio signals pushing outward in every direction. A shell of satellites in precise orbital formations. Probes moving through the outer reaches of our own solar system. A species that transformed from scattered tribes to an interplanetary presence in an amount of time that, measured against the age of the universe, is so small it cannot be drawn to scale on any diagram. Now take that curve, that explosive upward arc of what a technological species becomes, and do not extend it 1,000 years. Extend it 1 million. Extend it 10 million. Extend it across a time frame that makes all of recorded human history look like the first half second of a feature film. What does that civilization look like at the end of that extension? What problems has it solved that we currently consider impossible? What distances has it crossed that we currently consider uncrossable? The honest answer is that we cannot picture it. Not because it does not exist, because the human brain was built to model threats and opportunities within walking distance, and nothing in our evolutionary history prepared our imagination for what intelligence becomes when it has that much time and that much pressure to grow. But physics does not care what we can imagine. Physics tells us the shape of what is possible regardless of whether we are ready to accept it. Space is not empty. Between every star exists space-time itself, a real structure that bends, stretches, and reacts to gravity. Scientists have already measured these effects through gravitational waves and black holes predicted by Einstein's equations long before they were observed. An advanced civilization would not travel across interstellar distances like crossing an ocean. It would manipulate space-time itself, folding or altering the distance between 2 points until the gap no longer exists. This idea is rooted in real physics, not science fiction. The same mathematical framework that explains gravity also allows the possibility of shortcuts through space. A civilization far older and more intelligent than humanity may have already mastered these methods long ago. While we are only beginning to understand the first pages of space-time physics, something else in the universe may have already finished the book. Now think about what that crossing actually looks like from our side. No approach vector, no visible trajectory, no heat signature bleeding through the infrared spectrum from a propulsion system burning fuel across light years of travel. A vessel that folds space-time between its origin and its destination does not travel the path between them. It does not move through the space we are monitoring. It does not pass the sensors we have pointed outward into the dark. It simply arrives. One moment, a region of space contains nothing unusual. The next moment, it contains something that was not there before. The transition between those two states produces no warning signal that could travel ahead of it, because nothing traveled at all in the conventional sense. There is no bow wave, there is no approach. There is no time during which something is getting closer and our instruments are building a picture of it. There is only before and after, and our entire architecture of detection, every telescope, every radio array, every gravitational observatory currently in operation, is designed around catching things that move through space. Things that travel from one point to another along a path that takes time and leaves a signature. We built every alarm system we have for the wrong kind of arrival. Now consider what we have already seen. Objects moving through Earth's atmosphere and oceans that obey none of the physics we understand. No visible propulsion. No aerodynamic surface. No heat bloom from any engine in our catalog. Performing maneuvers at velocities that would destroy any material we can manufacture under the G-forces involved. Transitioning from air to water and back without any change in apparent speed or behavior, as if the difference between two completely different physical mediums is irrelevant to whatever is operating them. These are not stories from unreliable people squinting at blurry images. These are objects tracked by multiple independent sensor systems simultaneously, confirmed on radar and infrared and visual observation at the same moment. Witnessed by trained military pilots whose entire professional value depends on accurate perception and precise reporting. Formally acknowledged by governments that spent decades building entire bureaucratic architectures to deny they existed. The objects are real. The question of what they are remains officially unanswered. But here is what does not get said clearly enough. They do not move like something arriving for the first time. They do not move with the hesitation of an unknown environment, the careful mapping behavior of something encountering a new world, the orbital survey patterns we ourselves would use approaching a planet we had never visited. They move like something that knows exactly where it is, exactly where it is going, exactly what this planet's atmosphere does and does not do to objects moving through it at those speeds. They move through Earth space the way a person moves through a room they have lived in for years, without looking at the walls, without checking the corners, already knowing where everything is. That is not the behavior of a first visit, which means the conversation the world keeps having about aliens, the debate about whether they exist, whether they could make the journey, whether contact is coming someday in the distant future, is already the wrong conversation. The right conversation starts with a different question. Not, are they coming? Not, could they get here? Not what happens when they arrive. The question that physics and the evidence and the honest mathematics of this galaxy all point towards simultaneously is the one nobody in any official capacity wants to say out loud. How long have they already been here? What have they been watching? What are they waiting for us to do next? Sit with that tonight. Look up if you can see the sky, and understand that the darkness looking back has had considerably longer to study you than you have had to study it. If that thought won't leave you alone, if you want to follow this further into the dark, subscribe right now. Because what comes next goes deeper than this, more specific, more real, more unsettling. Every answer we find opens a door to something worse. You need to be here when we open the next one.